Hello family, it's your girl Pearl Holstock for another episode of A Life Worth Mentioning. I am so excited for today's episode because I am going to be talking to a woman that I've been communicating with for 5 years. They've never met. So I'm meeting for the very first time. Cindy works with creatives, content creators. She also works with influencers. So she's going to be talking to us about all things digital marketing, how to monetize your own social media page, and how to work with brands. But most importantly, how to remain consistent, authentic, honest, and relatable. Stick around, but please make sure that you listen and you listen carefully because you might walk away with a gift. Cindy, are you a morning person or afternoon person?
Well, I can wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And then start working. Okay, you're my kind of a girl.
Yeah, I have to be going at very early in the morning. I've always been like that, but it serves you well in business because you can get up at 4, start at 5.
Yes.
And by the time the emails come in, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you don't have that adrenaline rush of like scrambling and adding to the dinner. So you're very like calm, centered and organized by the time that, 9 o'clock rolls around.
Are you tea or a coffee kind of a
I'm terrible on coffee. Just don't ever give me coffee. I just don't do it. Sweet rooibos tea. Like rooibos tea, milk and lots of sugar. But that comes from, that's just a soothing thing that just comes from my childhood. My grandmother used to make us very sweet tea when we were little. Also, to put us to bed, a lot of Afrikaans kids like my age, we grew up with a rooibos tea bottle. Yes. Which is just rooibos tea, lots of sugar, and that's why some of us has such bad tea.
I need to ask another question now. What is a typical day for you? A spa treatment is relaxing or hike?
I love both. Like I love being really active. I love being out and active, but active like sweat active. Yes. Not like I want to go to Pilates. That's not my jam. Yeah. And then sport. Oh gosh, yeah. No,
that's my thing.
It's like totally my jam.
Yeah.
When we were much busier, when we were like turning just huge turnovers. To get me through the month, I'd schedule myself a full day at Fairlawn. To look forward to get me to the end of the month. And I still take my husband there all the time. It's like the best thing.
Yes.
You feel like royalty.
Yeah.
And then you go to any other spa and you're like, oh, this is not it.
Are you a high heel kind of a girl or a flat heel kind of a girl?
I wear flat shoes. I used to be high heels, but after COVID, like I can't wear it anymore. But I'm actually a trainer girl.
Okay.
Like I'm a kicks girl.
Yeah,
I've got like a collection. It's pristine.
With me, it's perfumes. So I will always say to my husband, don't give me flowers because I don't like flowers. I don't like chocolate. But please do buy me a perfume that I'm not going to use. I'm just going to look at it and like...
Do you have the new Prada one? It's crazy expensive. It's like 2.8.
It's too expensive for me.
It's so good though. No, I've always been like a kicks girl. Like before it kind of became the norm to just wear kicks everywhere, I'd be like head to toe in like corporate gear and then like a pair of kicks. And my clients would be like,
but that's what you are.
But I think it's quite a unique look. And I actually quite love it quite a bit.
This episode is proudly brought to you by PH Production in collaboration with UNG Fabrics.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are? I know who you are and I respect you tremendously.
Oh, thank you.
But I feel like the reason why I brought you here because this series is about people that are living purpose-driven lives. For me, little things matter. For me, when somebody invites everybody in and say, all of you have a seat at the table, I take notice of that. I grew up in a very, very small township where most of us were not given equal opportunities. I am in a space now in my life where if I walk in a room and I see every one of my sisters included, I really, really give honor to that person. I really say, whoever is the organizer, thank you. So for me, I feel you are one of those people that say, we are equal. We see you. We recognize your talent. come in. You are welcome.
Thank you. That's such a lovely compliment.
Yeah. So I feel like I brought you here because you inspire me.
Oh, thank you.
You probably forgot this, but we're going through COVID.
I remember that. Oh my goodness, that makes me teary-eyed.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I didn't even remember that you did something
I
for
forgot
me.
I did that.
You forgot because it's who you are. It's not who you're trying to be. And I honor you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really forgot about that.
Please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I am 48. I grew up in very traditional Afrikaans household, middle class. People I think they sometimes look at me and how I present myself and go like, she's been born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She's been given all the opportunities. I have been given a lot of opportunities in my life. By my parents, but the backstory of where my parents come from is why I was given those opportunities and why I live my life like that. Both my parents grew up very, very poor, poverty-stricken poor, like poor. My mother grew up poor, but then there's a level of poor that is just, my father's, when he went to school, the only meal he got for the day is when somebody shared his food with him or a teacher gave him his food. So it's that kind of poverty. But he has managed, and that kind of set the bar for him.
Yes.
I think he just lived like that and just realized that the rest of his life is not going to look like that, and he's not going to be satisfied with having that lifestyle. There was obviously no money for education. He had to work his way up. They had programs for underprivileged people where they can start as a clerk and work themselves up and pay for their studies, go through courses and do the whole thing. He was there for 30 years and he managed to build a very successful life for himself.
Yes.
But where he comes from, it's quite shocking. My husband, for example, grew up very privileged. Very wealthy, very privileged. His whole family is very wealthy and very privileged. I want to show you what my life, where I come from and who I really am, and how I present in the world, but what my roots are really like. So I took him to where I grew up, and where my parents, where my family grew up, and he was like flabbergasted. He didn't know that a space like that existed in the world, and that you can, because he obviously knows my dad now, and he like knows the house that he lives in, and he sees the trips that he goes on, and that was a huge eye opener for him, because I don't think people look at successful people and they go, it's always been like that, but it's not always like that. So it's good to grassroots I come from.
Yes.
Afrikaans, very traditional, never spared the rod.
I'm so excited to get to know you a little bit more. I'm sitting here Nunganwami Engmazi for a couple of years now. Actually today Sihlangana for the very first time. We've been communicating electronically, digitally, but 4 years. And now we are meeting and we are sitting
at the same table.
Yeah.
My name is Cindy Laufs. My surname is actually Furman because I'm married to a Jewish husband. But the only reason I haven't changed it is because I kept on like saying it's my brand, but it's his birthday on the 25th of April.
Yes.
And I'm officially changing my surname.
Yes.
After like 11 years.
Oh.
So I'm going to give him for his birthday. I'm going to give him my new ID.
So beautiful.
With his surname, he's going to fall apart.
Yes.
He's going to cry so much. So I've been in the marketing space for over 2 decades.
Yes.
In some kind of form. For the last 9-10 years, I owned my own agency called Hustle Media. Very, very successful agency. That's how we met. I had an influencer division that was thriving and did really well. And then, we hit a rocky patch in 2023. not really to anything that we did. There's definitely a lot of lessons that I've learned from it, where I think I could have changed, where I could have pivoted, where I could have made a little bit of a difference. One of them would be not spend 10,000 Rand on hair extensions on your hair and save that money. And then, so we scaled down quite significantly, and now we have a smaller company called Swallow Marketing, and we take on very select projects. Clients that we know are not easy to work with, because no client is easy to work with, but not very challenging. Because during the Hustle Media's tenure, we had good clients, but we had very challenging clients, which, you know, like as you get older, you kind of get tired of that. So what I think is important, like when you get into a space where you have an audience to speak to someone, like to speak to an audience and to connect. Often on podcasts and speeches, people only see, like, you know, the witchery jackets and you know the iPad and the perfection that you put out there and how you portray yourself. But I think it's also very important that when you have a voice and you have a platform, to also talk about the messy parts and the difficult parts. So that's why I'm excited about chatting to you, because I feel the value in our conversation is authenticity.
Yes. How can people connect with you when it comes to social media?
So because I'm in digital media, it's like there's a saying that says accomplished kids never have any shoes.
Yes.
So I'm like that. So I'm so hard to find. Instagram, you can follow me on Just Another Media Girl, and then on LinkedIn I'm under Cindy Laufs. I'm a little bit more professional there. So, but on my Instagram you're just going to see dogs and more dogs.
I want to know something, because to me you're an inspirational woman of substance. But do you have that person for you? Do you have your cheerleader, your mentor, your coach, that person that you can literally be vulnerable with and say, I'm tired, I need encouragement, I'm winning, can you take part in this joy that I'm feeling? Do you have that person?
I do have a person that I can have those vulnerable conversations with. Is definitely, there's a friend, her name is Lisa. She owns she's incredibly inspiring. She's she's younger than me. She owns a lead generation company with her sister. I feel as like the age that I am, it's like I'm just bordering Gen X, is we're very closed off, we don't talk about our feelings. And also the culture I grew up, we're very tough. Like very tough, we don't talk about stuff, we like swallow it, and that's just how it works. And she taught me how to be vulnerable. She taught me how to take my inside conversation outside. I'm very like emotionally and physically connected to her. And she's one of the few people that I'm really open and vulnerable with. You can still ask me, are you okay? And I'll go, yes. She'll ask me if I'm okay, and I'll be like, okay, cool. Listen, get a cup of tea.
let's talk this out.
Let's talk it out. But yeah, definitely. But I also there's also two people just out there in the world that make a huge difference, and I listen to often. I listen to their podcasts, I read their books. It's Mel Robbins. I mean, these two are so predictable, like everybody loves it. It's Mel Robbins. Like every time I say her name, hello, it's your friend Mel, comes into my head. So for me, it's just her life. She's around my age, and her life has had so many reincarnations.
Absolutely.
She's hugely at stuff, and then she's had some incredible wins. And she's just I love her off-kilter sense of humor, and she's like brazenly authentic. And I think she's very deserving of all her success, because she's just truly somebody that has like a rock solid advice and information. And then there's Brené Brown. I came across Brené Brown when I was going through a particularly tough time, and I usually listen to watch crime stories and listen to crime stories in the shower. And I remember feeling very down, and I was like, listen, I can't do a crime story. Like this is not the space for a crime story. And I heard about Brené Brown, and I just put it on YouTube, and then I listened to a speech that she gave to Harvard students, and that has changed my life, because there's a quote that she had in the speech that lives rent-free in my head.
Yes.
I'm going to have to, it's incredible. I'm going to have to read it.
Please read it for us.
Because it's Theodore Roosevelt from his 1910 speech, Citizen in a Republic, and it goes like this. So this quote is quite incredible, and you have to read it a couple of times to kind of really understand what it means. It says, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, but actually strives to do the deeds, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails daring greatly. But this quote just always floats around in my head.
Yes.
It's not word for word because it's so intense, but it reminds me to keep on showing up. Even if your face is marred with dust, and you've fallen down 100 times, like, you always need to show up and get up. I mean, that's quite dramatic, but like, I just feel like that is for me the quote that just sits in my head, and like really
such a powerful quote.
Yeah, it really means a lot. Like, and when you read it to people, you also like see the impact. Yeah.
What projects or what initiatives are you currently busy with at the moment?
So busy. I'm busy having a midlife crisis. We are working on a project that is completely service-based driven. It's not glamorous at all. It's a get your hands dirty kind of business. That we're just launching in May. It is a purpose-driven business.
Yes.
It's going to make an impact. It's something that will actively change lives, create a legacy, and I'm doing it with somebody that I'm very close to, because I want to break a cycle that his generation is in, and that is important for me. I don't want to like leave this earth and go, she almost died at the agency table. I want to leave this earth knowing that I've changed a life quite radically.
But you are doing that. You are doing that every day. I feel like you are doing that every day.
Oh,
you are leaving a legacy for our generation and the next generation. You see, when you are living authentically, you don't even realize how you touch people. Because this is the thing about you, you do not show up online constantly. On your page, it's only your dogs.
Yes.
But you are impacting our lives. So you know for a fact you are doing something if you are able to connect with the person, even if you do not show your face.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
That's a lovely compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me know, have you ever had that sense of this is the kind of life that you will be living today? Purpose-driven life. When you look back at your life, do you
Absolutely not. I was the wildest child. I was all over the place. Even in my 20s, I was directionless, just hopped from one thing to another. But at the core of my being has always been I'm not a competitive person, and I never knew what that meant for me. And what that means for me is that I believe in collaboration over competition. And I found that out as I moved through my career path and how I was handling business.
Yes.
So by being collaborative, you just get more out of people, having a sisterhood, having a support. You just go further and you can execute more with competition. Just doesn't work for me. Like, it's just, I don't like the feeling of it.
Yes.
I don't like being in situations like that. I don't like being in boardrooms like that. I don't like being around people like that. I've been like this since a child though. Like, I firmly believe there's enough sunshine for everybody.
Yes.
And that line stuck in my head. I don't know where I heard it, but it says there's enough sunshine for everybody. And that's why I believe in sharing expertise and knowledge. I'm very open to sharing my expertise and my knowledge. And if that makes an impact and if that contributes to living a purposeful life, I'm happy with that, and I'll take that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My friend, please tell me, with your background in the digital marketing space, what advice will you give to upcoming content creators? We know that each and every person out there, they want to be in this space.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's saturated industry, but I also feel like people need to have knowledge.
Yeah.
We really need to have. Hence, you are sitting here.
So now you got to listen up.
Yes.
Because I've got some tips for you.
Yes.
Some of these, it's very basic stuff. So I was actually just looking at a bunch of content creators for a client today, and I was like, I'm glad I made that list. Put your, the most important thing for me is to put your email in your bio. A lot of agencies use third-party searching tools. And because of API, these third-party social tools can't go into Instagram and tell me that you're a beauty influencer. But what it can do is say, you'll put in a search term, which would be beauty influencers Johannesburg, and then it will bring up beauty influencers Johannesburg. But it scans it through your bio, because it's the only place that it's got access to. So if you're not very clear on your bio with the keywords of what you are doing, you're most likely not going to come up on those searches on those third-party platforms. Also, you got to state where you're based. Very important. Put it in the bio. I'm from Joburg, I'm from Cape Town, I'm from Durban, because a lot of campaigns are location based, and if it's not there, what we have to do is go through your feeds and check where you've checked in, which is enough time to go through reels and find where this person lives. Because I've lived like in every part of South Africa, I can recognize landmarks, so for me it's kind of like easy, but it slows you down. So for me, if I'm on somebody's profile for longer than a minute and I can't find what I'm looking for, I'm like, oh no, I'm just going to move along. You need to make yourself accessible. So making yourself accessible is obviously clearly in the bio, Gmail. Don't put your phone number on there. Put on your email and just make it clear what your niche are. And just understand, I've run into this problem before. I know it's a problem for a lot of other campaign managers and agencies. It's like, you really need to understand the brief. Asking questions is not annoying. Asking questions is professional.
Yes.
Also, because not all agencies are honest, or you know how it goes. They'll go like, deliver 2 reels, but can you share 2 stories, or can you do 2 reels and do a carousel? So you need to be clear up front what you need to deliver. The reason for that is because we create content, and we always advocate for the content creators, because we know what it takes to create content. And when somebody tells me, okay, just let us slap on a carousel, I'm like, I'm not going to ask her that. It's not in your brief. It's not in the scope. It's extra work. It's billable hours. We can't do that. So if something's unclear, like, make sure it's 100% clear from your conversation with the agency. Then also never work without a contract. Another thing that is incredibly important is never work without a contract. So here we also have to understand kind of the perspective of the campaign manager or the agency, that they're under an extreme amount of pressure to execute, brief, do and do whatever they need to do to have a successful campaign. And a lot of times the small things fall behind, which is like the admin, which is contracts. So your contracts clearly need to, for me, it's just no contract, no work. And it's your responsibility, if you don't have a contract, to ask that agency. And if that agency is not going to give you a contract, that's already a big red flag. That means that they don't have a set set of rules in place and they're not willing to stand by it. A solid contract should have your scope of work, exactly what you need to deliver. For me, a contract is non-negotiable from the agency's perspective and from the content creator perspective. If it says you have to create 2 reels in a carousel, then not creating a carousel, not understand or forgetting or whatever, that's legal breach of contract. That's just what it is, and that speaks to your professionality. Another thing that is very important to always have in that contract is the payment terms, because that's where relationships are soured. I'll give you an example. So all big brands and big agencies have different payment terms, and an agency that's working with a brand will have to be paid by the brand, and then they have payment terms. So you're sitting with 2 payment centers. So you very clearly need to understand and ask what the payment terms is. I'm going to use a big property company as an example. They work differently from another property company, but this is a very good example because it's very clear. So they pay on when you've reported on the campaign. So you need to ask them, do I get paid when I deliver the content? Do I get paid after reporting? Do I get paid when the content is executed? And what does that payment term look like? Is it 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? What a good agency will do is they will know when they get paid. So, for example, I asked the client, when do you pay? And they're like, we pay on when you submit. When you submit the report, and then we pay 30 days from that date.
Okay.
So what you then have to do as a responsible agency is take 30 days and add like a couple of days on, just in case, there's a fluctuation, because, it happens. People don't get paid. So that line must be very, very, very clear, because that's where relationships sour. And I understand the frustration, where content creators, they don't do it often, but sometimes when it gets very frustrating, and I do understand, because I've been in a position where I haven't been paid millions, it gets very frustrating where they then vent their anger publicly, which is bad for you and which is bad for the brand. You never want to get into that situation. So being very clear on the payment terms and really understanding it, like that just avoids all of that. Also very important from the agency perspective is to keep on top what that contract says and what you told the content creator. So if you say, this is the date I'm going to get paid, and you haven't been paid, communicate. Say, listen, I haven't been paid. I've just followed up. I just want to let you know that I'm not ignoring you. I'm actively seeing where your payment is, because the unknown is what makes people angry. I would also, another thing that's very important, and just over so many campaigns that we've done, I've come across quite a bit of unprofessional content creators, and if you want to be serious about being a content creator and you want to get the big brands, and you want to be taken seriously, and if that is your path, you need to treat it as a job and be extremely professional. It's a thriving big industry, but it's also small enough for your reputation to travel.
Absolutely.
So I personally have a naughty list. I have a list of content creators that have not delivered, been difficult to work with, that I won't, and there's some big names on there that I won't work with, just because it's challenging to work with them. Or if a client comes to me and go, can you please get in touch with X? I would for you, but I just want to let you know that this person is challenging to work with, might possibly miss a deadline, or the content is not going to be up to scratch. So I just want to manage your expectations. If you're determined to work with them, I'll make it work for you, but I just forewarn you. And also, campaign managers and ad agency owners, we ask people for recommendations. So, for example, I've worked with incredible content creators, and I recommend them over and over and over and over again to industry peers, because I know they're going to show up, they're going to deliver, stats are going to look good. So always keep that in mind, that your reputation travels, and it travels fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so interesting what you are talking about, because I had a Zoom event with one of the recruiting agencies, big recruiting agencies in South Africa. What they do is they trace your digital footprint. So who you are online exactly tells us who you're going to be if we get you a job at a specific company.
Yeah.
So if you are one of those people that decide they want to vent online because this marketing agency did not pay me, I want to say it. Just you said, people, you have a naughty list. People screenshot things and they put you on the naughty list, because now we know you're not going to be able to cope. What if a company is late to pay us as a marketing agency? So you're going to vent now, you're going to tell everyone about it.
But I've had situations where, the payment just didn't come, but I was able to diffuse the situation because I kept them in the loop all the time.
Yes.
Constantly. But then there's been like the situations where I don't want to really, ruin that relationship with the content creator, and then I'd end up having to pay out of pocket and then go fisticuffs with the client. And then that client also just ends up on a naughty list if they don't get work with.
Yeah. I love this conversation, but what do you say to somebody who's out there who is saying, we don't get campaigns at all? Why? Why are we not getting campaigns at all? What do you say to someone that is literally saying, we feel like this industry is not fair? We feel overlooked. What do we say to those people?
I mean, what I've also, because I've been on the journey of content creators being small and bigger and then becoming bigger, I do think there is one element of luck in it. I think that's in like any business, you gotta there's a variable of luck. But there for me is always like a tipping point. There's always, if I look at their journeys as content creators, there's one thing that happened. And one brand that they landed that put them on the radar of other brands and other campaigns. Another thing that is very important, so that speaks to patience, good content, consistent content. So there is definitely that element of that lucky break. I wouldn't say the market is saturated, but it is trickier to be seen. What is also, I think, very important is that is a very positive thing in the industry is that brands are not exclusively looking at the big influencers anymore. So people want to work with nano influencers. You'll see the likes of Escort and big brands working with people who've got like 2,000-3,000 followers. We work with smaller influencers. And then the reason for that is because there's value in the actual content. It's fresh, it's new, and when you produce content for us, that means it belongs to us, we've paid for it, and with your agreement, then we can, for example, boost that reel, and it will go to a wider audience. So this is the conversation I have with my clients when they go, this person is only got 2,000 or 3,000 followers. I'm like, you have to see the value in the content. You're getting not mass-produced content by us. You're not paying for a shoot. You're getting authentic, user-generated content which performs the best. So that is what I would say to smaller guys. Like, there is a space for you. Where they like 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't say there was like, because people were like, get the big guys. There's now a very distinct space for you.
Lastly, what are you truly passionate about right this minute? What are you passionate about?
I'm very into health and fitness. Like, I love being healthy and strong. I'm fascinated by how you can get stronger every day. Turned like mid-40s, I really got very much into it because I was like, I just want to be a stronger older person. And also, I mean, in Cyril's economy, we're going to have to work till we're 80.
Yes.
So, I'm very passionate about that. I have a dog called Oliver, who do you want to see a pic? I have 4 dogs, but I have this one dog called Oliver, who's my soul dog, and I am just inappropriately obsessed with him. Like,
you're allowed to be.
Like, he's with me all the time, and he's this huge dog. I think it's also because he's had like quite an incredible journey to where he is now, and I've had him for 5 years, and it's I don't know, it's like an unhealthy dog mom relationship. Aww. He's like, he hides from me sometimes.
Oh my god.
He's like, you're just gonna smooch me.
No.
So those are the 2 things.
He loves you.
He allows me to do.
Yeah.
He just gets a bit over me sometimes.
Yeah. What biblical foundations, biblical principles?
You know, so my journey with faith has been rocky, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
When I was a kid, like the church was very, very strict.
Yes.
And it was eternal damnation, you know? So, and I always just thought, because I wasn't this perfect child, God is going to strike me down. Like, that's all I thought. And I didn't think of him as a kind God. I was petrified of him. Absolutely petrified. I remember when I'd be naughty, I would beg for hours for God not to strike me with lightning. So that was my conception of religion. So you kind of like, I went for a long time niggling in my head, going, you need to hold on to something higher, but not kind of knowing what it is. And my husband is a different religion from me, which it's not that it doesn't resonate with me. These are just principles that I don't agree with. Because when you go through challenging times, there's just like a point where you realize, I need somebody else. I need somebody else on my shoulder. I need somebody else to back me. I need something more than my husband and more than my support crew.
Yes.
So I started leaning into my faith a little bit more last year, November. So what I can see though, because I'm still really getting to know what the word really is and how I stand with, is it God, is it Jesus, is it the Holy Ghost, who am I talking to? But one thing that I have noticed, that if I have a bad week, that aligns with me not having a conversation with God in that week. So it gives me great comfort. I'm try to be very consistent about it, because I feel like if I don't have that conversation in the morning, that my day looks different, and I feel a little bit more unease. Where when I do have that conversation, I feel secure and protected. We're not so stressed about stuff, but like I know that there's an overarching hand that holds me and protects me.
I love that. I do not ever start my day without say, how does this day look like according to you?
That's actually something I should incorporate. That's a good idea. Listen, I'm still like a baby Christian. I have to have like a little book that says what I should do and where I should go, and then I have to fill it in. Like I have Jesus homework.
Yes. Thank you so much. That is something that we normally do in this particular series for each and every one of our guests. Everyone for our guests. Yes. So that's you. That's your face in it, but it's not just your face. You are always pouring into other people.
Oh, man.
As you can see, that bottle of water is full to the brim.
Well, this is so special.
You are always pouring into people. Please make sure that you never ever run dry, because people are always coming and saying, we need you here. Your friends, your family, your husband. You're Oliver. Everyone is coming to you, wanting you to give something of yourself. In order for you to be able to pour into us, you need to do things that fill you.
This is so special.
Yeah. Do things that fill you.
So thoughtful. grateful.
Yes, we see you, we honor you, we love you, we respect you. And you are not just sitting here as just one of our guests. You are sitting here because I feel you have something to say, something that will touch someone that is trying with their phones to create content, and they're like, maybe this is not for me, but you are sitting here saying there is a market for you.
Yeah.
You are inviting them in. You're saying there is a space for you. Create, be consistent, be original, be you.
Yeah.
A good brand will find you, and a good brand will pay you what you are worth. So thank you so much
It's a pleasure.
being you.
Thank you for the space and the platform. It's just been such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is a life worth mentioning. We do Holstock. Till next time. Bye.